This happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and despite what I want to believe, I think it's still an ongoing issue. I don't exactly live in the woods, but my house is on the outskirts of what I'd call a nature-filled suburb. Lots of trees, wildlife, and that sort of thing. One side of our house borders what I guess you could call a small woods, though. It's more accurate to describe it as a wooded patch, since it's only about 1/4 mile from our property to the neighboring road on the other side. That road leads up and connects to another street. And on the other side of that road is this massive body of water that I've always been curious about. Growing up, I assumed it was some kind of reservoir, since there are tons of no trespassing signs and government property signs posted all along the fence surrounding it. But here's the weird thing. The name of this supposed reservoir isn't listed on Google Maps or Apple Maps, which it definitely would be if it were an actual reservoir. I always found that kind of strange. I've looked it up multiple times over the years and never found any official information on it, but its presence has definitely been an interesting topic of conversation among my siblings and I. I'm on varsity cross country for my school, so I'm always looking for good places to run. That wooded area has become my go-to route because it's exactly a 2-mile loop through that patch of woods, along that road by the water, then back around. It's way quieter than running in my actual neighborhood, which doesn't have sidewalks and has these twisty roads with terrible visibility where people drive way too fast. The season was fast approaching, so I had recently ramped up my runs. The day everything went down, I could have sworn I heard some rustling behind me as I was making my way back through the woods after my run, but I figured it was probably just an animal. Fast forward to that night. During the summer, I always sleep with my windows open. I love the sounds of nature at night, especially when it rains. And boy, did it rain that night. A few hours after getting back home, a massive thunderstorm erupted out of nowhere. It was glorious. I was lying in bed, listening to the rain and thunder when I started drifting off. That's when I heard something that definitely wasn't part of the storm. It was soft at first, but it didn't go away. It was this soft sobbing or crying sound, and the more I listened, the more it sounded like it was coming from right beneath my bedroom window, and the more distinctly human it sounded. As if there was any doubt as to whether the sound could have been the result of the storm, a soft female voice cut through the raindrops. It said, clear as day, "Can you help me? I'm cold. I've never moved so fast in my life." It was like my primal instincts took over before fear could freeze me in place. I burst out of bed, ran to the front door, and sprinted around the side of the house toward my bedroom window. The rain was pelting so hard I was soaked within seconds. But I didn't care. I needed to do something. As scary as hearing that voice was, it had never occurred to me that something sinister was going on. My only thought was that someone was genuinely in danger. And as soon as I turned the corner, there she was. Huddled right underneath my window was a woman wearing white clothing, maybe a nightgown or a dress, and she was crouching like she was trying to stay under the small overhang of my window. I approached her cautiously and asked if she needed help. The whole situation felt like a fever dream. But then, things went from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. As soon as she noticed me, she sprang up and rushes straight at me with a surge of energy I hadn't expected. Without much time to react, I braced myself for contact. But mid-stride, she seemed to hesitate. Maybe she noticed how tall I am. I can't say for sure. But instead of engaging me, she deviated from her collision course and veered off towards the woods. I stood there in shock as she disappeared into the darkness, running impossibly fast for someone with no shoes on. I didn't follow her. I immediately went back inside, still dripping from head to toe, and I woke my dad up. When I told him what happened, he was just as freaked out as I was. We went around and made sure every door and window in the house was locked. We talked about calling the police, but it was already after midnight, and we figured that by the time they showed up, the woman would be long gone. Plus, Searching those woods in a thunderstorm seemed like it would be pointless and potentially dangerous for whoever had to do it, if they even agreed to. So, we decided to just deal with it in the morning, if necessary. I managed to fall back asleep eventually, and the next couple of days were completely normal. My dad and I chalked the whole thing up to one of two potential explanations: a homeless person looking for shelter, or someone who was mid-mental break.